Welcome, everyone. We've got another one of our quarterfinal matchups here. It's going to be, I want to say an exciting one, but it does contain Ebony Scarface, and so we know exactly what to expect coming here. It's going to be an interesting one, I'll say, as Zexxus stamped his authority on Group C, taking
All
down
right,
the
here
likes
we
of
go.
Sandal, Zexxus, and Shadow Shield, not dropping a match. So we'll have to see if he's able to show up here prepared enough for Ebony Scarface. This Aura start right here, I don't know if I'd call it prepared. You see the Judge varies, which I mean, it's a good start. So if you don't know what Ebony's been doing, it's erase shields, recalls, and violent changes, essentially. There's a little bit more nuance to it than that, and we can dig into it as the series goes on. But a low Aura start like this is not good. The Judge of Aries, though, shows preparation for it. Both good moves, but bad draws. Would you see Ebony also at his own one Aura, but it's a little bit more forgiving for him? Because he can just hold on to a shield or two until he's able to hit his recall loops. And he gets it all back because somewhere along the way, Ebony has made sacrifices to the heathen deities of recall and just works out for him every time. Now he's just standing in Zexxus' base. I'm not sure exactly why. Just as a taunt. Zexxus is known as a player that can tilt pretty hard. And so anything Ebony can do to put Zexxus on tilt, because I mean his style is basically 100% tilt, as it is. Just erase their moves, erase their capsules, and that's all he's going for. Anything he can do to put Zexxus on tilt early is going to be good. I gotta wonder about holding on to the Vibration Blaster after all this Aura trouble. Gonna try and get some damage down with the Laser Blade, but Ebony is able to just use the lift and tag him with his own Flame Sword. Ebony recovering from the Aura troubles faster than Zexxus is. Actually ends up using a relearn on the Aura Particle. And he's already dropped one of his Judge of Aries as well. This could be a tough situation. Zexxus' arsenal is looking a little crammed, and it's actually coming to bite him for once. We usually see these crammed 17 and 18 skill arsenals out of Zexxus and Zexxus, and they just tend to recover from them and have decent enough starts that it doesn't bother them somehow. But against the penny-pinching Ebony Scarface, like that's the last person you want to bring an overloaded arsenal against and have a bad draw, because he's all about pinching your skills. And having erased that many on his own, and there he's going to lose the Laser Blade now to the Fortress when he had the Aura to use the Judge of Aries. Now's a good time to use it. He could get 2 shields with that. Scarface relying on his Flame Sword and Rian for now, before he gets into that recall loop. Oh, he's going to actually knock him down with a blaster on the left right there. That was a good move. Unfortunately, it seems like we didn't get the game sound from Zexxus' recording, because we are watching from his perspective. I wasn't available when they had this match going on. A lot of things going on right now with family coming into town and some medical things. Zexxus is going to stay away from both reincarnations there. Good dodging. Still chosen not to use the Judge yet. Oh, and he's out of range to combo with it. Pick up the Aura Particle first. I would take the Amulet because he's known to use Quantum Decay. I think he actually got that Rian right there. Yeah, he got the reincarnation off of him. But he's going to eat a Flame Sword. So the Erase Shell doing work. Ebony has now reached his recall loop, though. One recall goes off. Vibration Blaster not going to be anywhere near hitting. Very narrow window to try and manual aim through. It's highly telegraphed where he's going to manual. Pick up the amulet. Quantum Decay is coming. Unless he overrode it. In which case he'll recall it and he'll use it on you anyway. Some interesting manual aims. Not going to connect. He is leery of that flame sword. He wants to get in there and just manual. Pick up the amulet now. He's got a purple in hand. Yep, that's a good call. Could be the violent change. Could be something else. At this point, Aura has been the biggest factor in this match. Ebony having a rough start and Zexxus having an even rougher one that he was less able to recover from. The reincarnation might be a better call than the dark hole. But at this point, with no recalls, he's 2 violent changes away from losing. He's going to keep himself away. He's got to get through that glacial wall now. Manual aim was a little too high. And he's going to catch another 5 damage flame sword. Does finally catch a vibration laser onto him, but he's now frozen. Oh, so close there. Vibration Blaster not going to break the shield. Doesn't quite connect. Oh, Ebony with a good cartwheel there is able to stay away from that. And Ebony has just had the tempo advantage. He hasn't even violent changed yet. And he has Zexxus in his crosshairs here at 5 health. Looks like right now Ebony is more interested in finishing this match with the flame sword than trying to get his loop going. This may be the first time we've seen his loop get interrupted. Enough of an aura problem that it actually got interrupted. But Zexxus is also having aura trouble. So despite Scarface having trouble, his opponent had as much or worse to the point where he's not able to really take advantage of Ebony not having the loop. One flame sword might be enough to finish this off. Oh, Ebony did have a recall there, so we'll see if he gets his loop going. So he gets back another 5 capsules. Manualing by Zexxus. Not going to tag him over the top of that, unfortunately. Continues to try to. Oh, and he gets tagged by the Fire Gehenna. Could have just stayed behind the pole there.
Nice.
Or dark hold it, but he decides to cartwheel. So that's going to be game 1 to Ebony. We began on lane. Looks like we're going to be going in regular order. Ebony really preferring to go through the early levels. Palace and Highway both really suit his style that he's run through this tournament. See what decides to bring here. Gonna go with an orb deck, looks like, with Faith and a lot of purples. Here on sign. Nope. Gonna switch it up. If Zexxus moves on, you get a nice little view into his arsenals here. Got a violent change arsenal of his own, but not very many changes and not very many recalls. Not sure I'm personally a fan of that. Either go all in or don't. That's an interesting one right there. A good rush deck. Not sure why it needs optical in it. And that will be what he settles on. Orb in hand. Looking to hit that 5 aura. Go put some pressure down with the melee moves, maybe. He's going to take the relearn. Thought he would pick up the Psycho Knife. Relearn's not a bad choice here, though, if he runs into the Fortress or the Guard of Water. Oh, he gets the Quantum Decay off. Ebony just waits for it, Glacial Walls, and then Quantums right through the orb. Very dirty play. I think Return to Nature is the one that you want to go with here. Pick up your speed up. Yep. Relearn an Aura Particle if you get one. That early Quantum Decay is very good for him. And you just pick up the Psycho Knife, and yeah, I'd go put some pressure down while he's still working on building here. Actually overwrites it. Now he's got the 5 aura for the Psycho Blade. Chooses to leave the Flame Sword at base, which I think is a mistake, versus the Violent Change. Take both of your melees and don't run off the map. That's also usually something I'd say is in the playbook. Now get over there, pick up both melees, get the pressure on. He's taking too much time for a rush deck. Too much time to allow Ebony to approach. He's at 9 aura now in this heavy arsenal that he has. It's allowed him to get too close to the capsules needed. Could just have a Fortress at this point too. He had him shieldless there for a good long while. Fortress is going to take it. And an Ice Sword and another Quantum Decay. He's managed to get 2 Quantum Decays. He seems to know exactly that there's an orb in hand too, which is really good intuition there by Ebony. You can't underwrite that. How well he executes what he's doing. It may not be the most exciting to watch, and it may not be the most engaging gameplay, and it's a very high-risk style.
Damn it, can you just give me that fucking shatter, damn it?
Oh, yeah, the shatter is what Zexxus is looking for. We hear him mention it himself. I'm going to go ahead and turn down his sound, just since we don't have game sound anyway. But definitely looking for the shatter here would have been a big win for him, but not getting the shatter might have been worth it to pack 2. See, again, this is kind of like the lane deck. I feel like he's shown up with the right kind of preparation. Shatter and Judge of Ares are both high-value moves versus Ebony Scarface, in my opinion. But the execution hasn't been great, and the arsenal draws hasn't been great. I don't like the way that these arsenals are built. I feel like a second Shatter would have been good. I feel like the 3-school R regen doesn't let you be as aggressive as you need to be. Additionally, he's just not getting it. I mean, his Shatter is going to show up in his last 3 capsules, basically, which is truly unfortunate. He's got 3 different kinds of stats, which I feel is just overloaded. Makes this arsenal really bloated. So he has the right ideas for how to deal with Ebony. I don't like the way the arsenals are built, and he's clearly not getting the skills that he needs either. They're not coming out in the right order. He got Aura screwed horribly on lane, and he had his Shatter still hasn't come up on this map either. He's going to break a Glacial Wall with a Meteor, but he's now at his recall loop. You're at 4 capsules. I would go back and get the Shatter that's clearly on your bench. I think I would just jump off and get it. It's your only chance at this point. Ebony sitting on to what is likely his fortress. It was another glacial wall. Like, you definitely want to get the shatter because he's going to pop it now. And he's still got the fortress for all of your moves here. Yep. As soon as you move, violent change is going to come out just before you get back to base. And now you've lost the shatter.
These arsenals are not working.
So this is kind of tragic.
Just decided to get
for
the shatter at
Zexxus.
the very last minute.
You still can't take away that Ebony is executing these things well. Things are just not working for Zexxus. His last capsule was now popped as well. I didn't see the violent change go down, but it obviously did. Both of his melee moves now gone. Going to return to lobby. And we're going to be heading to Palace for our next one. Zexxus having a really tough break here. Turbulence. Looks like he's going to try for that. A good old sword rush. Blazing rush with turbulence. These are all the skills that you need for Ebony for this style. And it's weak to that. It's heavy. It's bloated. It can take a while. It has weaknesses. When I played him, I didn't know that this was the style he was using, so I wasn't able to really come in with any preparation. Choices, who did play him and actually beat him in the group stage and took first seed in that same group as Ebony, plays a style that kind of counter to what Ebony is doing. He actually 3-0'd Ebony. And so these turbulence styles, looks like Zexxus switched up to a Dragon Slayer deck. Dragon Slayer is going to be good against Ebony. I feel like I would prefer the Turbulence and Judge of Ares personally. But those are the kind of skills you're looking at. Turbulence, Judge of Ares, Dragon Slayer, Shatter, the Rush type decks. You want to get up there. You want to get him before he can get set up and get some of that damage down. But, Zex is clearly understanding that these are the moves that he needs to have, but not having the best builds for it and not getting the skills he needs to take advantage of it. I think a good Dragon Slayer, and then maybe hit the Lack. It is probably... Oh, he didn't have enough R to combo it, but it's probably a reincarnation as it was. Only getting the Backdraft Bullet is unfortunate. I'd just take that Diabolical Trick, start going to town. I'd just drop the Backdraft at this point. Good Lack there. Ebony's going to hit much faster this time on his recall loop. So getting those capsules erased. Not capsules, his moves erased. Not really a big deal to him. As he's already got another shield and another attack. Clearly had the reincarnation in hand. Holding on to the backdraft. I think he's somewhat questionable. The Heat from the Void. I've just never been a fan of that move. I feel like it's so situational. I think he just needs to go down there and get popping with the Diabolical Trick. He is going to eat a Flame Sword for it. But this is where the game begins. That Aura Particle actually might have been the smarter pop, because that would have kept him off of his recall loop a little bit longer. It's actually going to overwrite the Flash Hole. Not sure I agree with that. The Lack could be good. Yeah, I don't like the idea of this deck. The recall deck just has him with too many abilities. The Dragon Slayers, and the Dragon Slayer is good because it allows you to hit him afterwards. The Lax, he's just going to recall that stuff in the Heat from the Void. He's just going to keep picking up things because he can afford to. I'm not a fan of the move in the first place, let alone against a recall deck. This is the first arsenal that I don't think I agree with from Zexxus. Like I didn't like the builds, like the way like I liked the idea behind his first two builds, not the way that he actually built them. But this one, I'm just not sure I agree with the deck on an idea form, because now he's look how bloated his hand is at this point, how overfilled. He's got the diabolical trick and the backdraft bullet and the tiger strength, all these like, kind of secondary moves, and now he has to overwrite one just so he can keep a defense and have an actual attack. So he has to lose the diabolical trick pressure just so he can actually fight, because he just has too many of these type of moves in the arsenal. And then he's got the Dragon Slayers and the Lax besides. It clutters your hand. So now he's got to try and hyper kick his way through a fortress for a backdraft finish. And Ebony is very well versed in playing around this kind of thing. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Like, after all is said and done, all these other skills that are in this arsenal, right? Like 2 Lax, 2 Dragon Slayers, a Heat from the Void, Diabolical Trick. It's coming down to a hyper kick and a backdraft bullet. Like, that's literally what he's going to rely on here. And like hyper kick and backdraft bullet, not a bad combo, but he just had too many of these other moves that get cluttered in there. I feel like just going for 3 Dragon Slayers and 3 shield breakers, just keep hitting through those shields, and then do the hyper kick backdraft bullet would have been better, or just do the melee like the hyper kick and the diabolical trick. Put the melee pressure down, pop when you don't need it, but having the combo on the ground, the tiger strength, the diabolical trick, you just got too many of these supplemental skills in there that are making it. There we go. He's going to get another one. He's going to get the combo on that one. Despite this, the hyper kick and the backdraft bullet by itself is just, it's a solid combo. I just feel like there could have been better skills that go with it in here than what was brought. Oh, there goes the Fire Gehenna, using a very greedy tiger strength there right in front of him. Not the best choice. Can't quite one-shot him at this point. Oh, he actually drops the hyper kick. He's going to go with the Rian now. I think keeping the hyper kick was the right call, not the reincarnation. Maybe even the... Is he going to drop the fortress for a lag? He drops the backdraft bullet for a lag. I don't know. This could end up being a 3-0 for Ebony right here, but there goes a reincarnation. He takes 3 damage. Takes 3. It's unfortunate that I didn't have the tiger strength on, because then it would have been a 2-shot, and he would just needed 1 more. However, now, he would still need 2 tiger strength reincarnations, or 3 non-tiger strength reincarnations. Okay, there's good. Oh, he actually gets the combo there, right? Ebony just throws it all away there, trying to hit his own reincarnation in melee range. Ebony showing his first lack of composure in this series right there. Gets a little antsy, and he's going to drop a game. And Zexxus is making a comeback here. It's going to be game 3 going to Zexxus, so it's a 2-1 lead for Ebony. It's still game point. We're going to Highway next, which we know is basically Ebony's natural habitat. And Zexxus has decided to go with his own Violent Change deck, and I feel like that might be the worst possible decision playing Ebony Scarface, is trying to out-Violent Change the Violent Changer. Like, he's clearly done this so many times, he has it down to near perfection. I don't think there's many players that can execute it at the same level as he does. And we saw this build earlier when it was hovered. I don't feel like Zexxus' build is going to be able to hold up to it. It only has, I think, 1 recall and 2 violent changes, whereas Ebony runs I believe it's 3 and 3. Almost every single one of those recall violent change decks. 3 violent changes, 3 recalls. Could be just 2, but he's going to be able to outlast you capsule-wise almost every time because it's always going to be 3 recalls. And there's almost always a relearn or 2 in there as well. Manual aims with the slide laser, not super effective. He's already at his recall loop. He's got his setup. I feel like you got to pick up that relearn before it gets popped. I'm really worried that purple in hand is going to take it. Yep. And so now I lost it. But he has both of his violent changes. But that relearn, I think I would have taken that over the slide laser. Watching the purple in his hand, I would have dropped the slide laser because it's not going to come down to that. What you need to do is get lucky. Oh, he's leaving both of his violent changes on bench. The slide laser's got to go, man. Because you have to get lucky and pop some of his important stuff with your violent changes. I feel like that's the main crux here. Ebony is about to pop. Yeah, there goes all of your violent changes. That was it. You've got a recall coming up. You've got a slide laser in your hand that admittedly you are not doing well with manual aiming right now. Maybe other days you do just fine, but right now you're not.
On, man. No aura.
Still
No
not able
aura.
to hit his 10 aura for the recall loop. Diabolical Trick is just almost, not able to do anything. There goes the Quantum Decay. Ebony thinking it might have been an orb. He waits to hit the freeze first. And the Vibration Blaster's got to go at this point. Vibration Blaster absolutely has to go. Reincarnation and Diabolical Trick are really your only options at this point. There goes another Quantum Decay. Ebony, after having hit his aura threshold, easily keeping himself up. Why erase the Flash Hole? Get rid of the Vibration Blaster. That's got to go. After being Quantum Decayed twice, it's got to go. I'd say pick up the Glacial, hold the level. The Glacial is what he needs in his hand, not Vibration Blaster. He's just going to end up getting violent changed. He's going to take some free damage there. The Glacial Wall can actually stop it. There goes another Quantum Decay. Ebony just murdering him down, just keeps relearning it. Now he's got the orb.
Thanks for not giving me orb.
That orb would have been really good for him earlier. Obviously, we hear him also upset with that. Zexxus is just not getting the good end of the draws. I know we've talked about the Zexxus and Zexxus superpower being luck, but it seems to have run out today. He is not getting anything that he needs here. He has tools in most of these decks to deal with the shenanigans that SCARFACE likes to use. But, just not able to get that done here. And that's going to be Ebony SCARFACE eliminating Zexxus, who might have been the favorite walking into the knockout stage in a 3-1 fashion. You got to wonder at this point, even the players that are showing up, I don't think it was the best execution, but even the players that show up with preparation have just been completely impotent before this Arsenal style that Ebony SCARFACE has been executing every single match. Nobody seemed to have a solid answer to it except for some poor choices who was able to, by default of his own style, kind of counter it. Everybody else, the first couple people that Ebony played, like myself and I'm trying to remember the first person he played. I think it might have been War Dog. We didn't have any of that prior knowledge coming in, so we weren't able to do the prep. It's getting down. Most of the people that are in still aren't really known for their Arsenal prep either. we will see Ebony advancing, and he will play the winner of Kanye West versus Poor Choices. I guess those two are probably two of our better Arsenal planners that we have left in the tournament. We also are waiting on the result of Zexxus versus Math. And spoilers here at the end of the video, if you haven't watched it yet, we'll be seeing Esper advance after a 5-game series over Sandal. So Esper, very smart Arsenal builder as well, but we do lose, Phantom Dust greatest mind Sandal himself. And yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in the Arsenal draws for Zexxus there. He had the right kind of preparation. I wasn't a huge fan of the way he built the prep decks there, but he had the right kind of moves. He had Turbulence decks. He had Shatter decks. He definitely had some of the right tools there, just not able to achieve the level of execution necessary based on draws and some of the builds there. So we will bid farewell to Zexxus. Zexxus will be carrying on the flag for the duo here, looking to take down Mr. Math in one of our remaining quarterfinal matches, and we will have more of that coverage coming to you later this weekend.